Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something chilling for you. We're diving into 5 terrifying true stories I found on Reddit. So, turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's get into the first story. And if you enjoy these kinds of videos, I'd really appreciate it if you support the channel. Give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps a lot. I live in a small apartment building, 6 units total, old brick, creaky floors, thin walls. You can hear everything here. People talking, dogs barking, even when someone upstairs drops a spoon. The thing is, no one lives above me. That's not me being dramatic. The apartment right above mine has been empty since before I moved in. 4 years ago. The landlord said the old tenant passed away and his family never came back for the furniture. The door's padlocked. The blinds are always closed. I've never seen anyone go in or out. Still, for as long as I've lived here, I've heard footsteps up there. It started as light creaks at night. Nothing alarming, old building, wood shifts, pipes settle. But over time it got clearer, more human. Walking from one side of the room to the other. Slow, deliberate steps, sometimes stopping right above where my bed is. I told myself it was my imagination. Then one night, I recorded the sound on my phone. When I played it back, you could clearly hear someone pacing, not random creaks, footsteps. I played it for my landlord the next morning. He frowned, said, "That's impossible. There's no electricity up there. No one has a key but me." Still, he agreed to check. I went with him. He unlocked the door and swung it open. The apartment smelled stale, like dust and old carpet. Everything was covered in a fine layer of gray. Furniture still there, couch, table, even a coffee mug on the counter. No footprints. No sign anyone had been inside. We did a quick walkthrough. The floors creaked under our weight. The exact same sound I'd been hearing at night. Except now, in daylight, it felt harmless. Just old wood. He locked up again, double-checked the latch, and handed me a new contact number, in case you hear it again. That night, it was worse. The walking started around 12:30 a.m., heavier this time. I could hear it circling the room above me. Then after a pause, 3 knocks. Slow, right above my headboard. I didn't sleep at all. Next day, I called the landlord again. No answer. I texted him. Nothing. Later, when I got home from work, there was an envelope taped to my door. Inside was a folded piece of paper. It said, "Please stop calling. That apartment is sealed for a reason. No name. No signature." I felt this sick, cold pressure in my stomach. I called the building office number from the website. A woman picked up. Not my landlord. Someone new. I explained everything, and she said, "Sir, the property changed owners 3 months ago. The previous landlord passed away. You must be mistaken." When I mentioned the note, she went quiet. Then she said very carefully, "No one from our office would have left that." That night, I barely turned the lights off. Around 2 a.m., the footsteps came back. Heavier, slower, then dragging, like someone was pulling something heavy across the floor above me. I grabbed my phone, hit record again. But before I could press stop, there was a sound right outside my apartment door. Faint, almost polite. 3 knocks. I froze, didn't move for 5 minutes. Then I crept to the peephole. Nothing. I played the recording the next morning. I expected to hear footsteps, maybe the knocking. Instead, I heard something else. A man's voice, low and tired, right before the knocks, barely audible. "I thought you were gone." I park in the same spot every day, back row of a half-empty commuter lot near the train station. It's quiet there. No one really uses it after 6 p.m. I work late, so I'm usually one of the last people to leave. About 2 months ago, I found the first note on my windshield. It was written on a yellow sticky, scrawled in shaky block letters, "You don't belong here." I laughed it off. Figured it was some high school prank or a bored security guard. Threw it out. 2 nights later, there was another one. "Go home before it's dark." That one unsettled me. It wasn't the message itself. It was the time. It had been broad daylight when I parked, and already dark when I came back. Whoever left it had done it while I was gone. I checked the dash cam I keep running in my car. Nothing. Just a few frames of headlights passing, and the occasional flicker of motion. Probably wind or bugs. Still, I started parking 1 row closer to the exit. A week passed. Nothing happened. Then one Wednesday, I found 3 notes tucked under the wipers. The first said, "Stop pretending." The second, "I see what you did." And the third one wasn't a note at all. It was a photo. It showed the back of my car, taken from maybe 10 feet away. You could see me inside, sitting in the driver's seat, head tilted down like I was texting. But what made my stomach drop was the angle. It was taken from the passenger side window, meaning whoever took it had been standing right next to my car. I went straight to the police the next morning. The officer at the front desk looked sympathetic, but not surprised. She said they'd had a few reports of harassment in that area. No solid leads, though. Suggested I move my car closer to the cameras near the main road, so I did. For a while, nothing. I started to think it was over. Then one morning, I came out and saw another sticky note, fluttering under the wiper. "Why did you switch cars?" I hadn't. Same car, same plate, same color. That one made me feel cold all over. I opened my dash cam footage again, rewound to the night before. Nothing, until the last minute of the clip. There was a faint figure standing a few spaces away, half in shadow. You could barely make them out. A long coat, maybe a hood. They were facing away from my car, looking toward the woods behind the lot. Then the clip ended. I bought a new camera that same day. One that records in color. Wide angle, 24/7. I felt safer, for about a week, until the night the motion alert woke me up. It was 2:16 a.m. The app said movement detected. I opened the feed and saw my car sitting under the lot's street light. Someone was inside, at least that's what it looked like. A shape in the driver's seat, completely still, facing forward. I called 911, shaking so bad I dropped the phone once. Cops got there about 20 minutes later. They found my car locked. No sign of forced entry, but there was a note inside, stuck to the steering wheel. "You were supposed to stay gone." I had no idea what that meant. They dusted for prints. Nothing. I changed my parking habits again, started leaving my car at a different station altogether. A few days later, my manager called. He sounded uneasy. "Hey, you've been parking in my spot lately. The one with the blue Camry?" I told him no. "My car's silver." He paused. "Then who's been driving yours?" I laughed nervously, thinking he was kidding, but he wasn't. He said he'd seen my car twice that week in the old lot. Same plate, same dent on the fender. I didn't believe him, until he texted me a photo, my car, parked exactly where I used to leave it. And under the wiper, another yellow sticky note. The image was grainy, but I could still read it. "You're not the one I was leaving these for." I've lived in this neighborhood for 7 years now. It's the kind of quiet suburban place where people wave from their driveways and mow their lawns on Saturday mornings. Everyone minds their business. But in that polite American way, you know, the kind where you still bring your neighbor's trash bins in if they forget. So when I started noticing that my neighbor's front door, the house across the street, was always open at night, it stuck out like hell. It began sometime in February. I get home from work around 10 p.m. I usually park, grab my mail, and head straight inside. But one night I noticed the porch light across the street was on, and the front door was cracked wide open. At first, I thought maybe someone had just stepped out for a smoke or let the dog out. But when I left for work the next morning, the door was still open. It kept happening. Every single night, the same house, same door, open halfway, like someone had just walked through and never bothered to close it. I never saw anyone come or go. After the 4th night, I started getting uneasy. It wasn't the open door itself, really. It was how deliberate it looked. The house was dark inside, the porch light always on. You could see straight through the doorway into a narrow hall. A family photo hanging crooked on the wall. A pair of shoes by the mat. It looked lived in. But I hadn't seen anyone outside that house for weeks. I finally mentioned it to the guy who lives 2 houses down, Phil. He frowned and said, "That's the Dawsons' old place. They moved out a while ago. That confused me." "Then who's living there now?" He shrugged. "Bank owns it, I think. Been empty since last summer." That night I checked again. Door open, light on. No movement inside. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I even called the local non-emergency police line. They sent a patrol car once. I watched from my window as the officer walked up, peeked in, shone a flashlight around, and then just closed the door and left. But the next night it was open again. A few days later, I woke up around 3:30 a.m. to get a glass of water. Out of habit, I looked out the front window. The door was wide open, except this time, the porch light across the street was off. The darkness felt heavier than it should have, like the kind of dark you don't want to stare at too long. I tried to shake it off, but I swear I saw movement inside. A shape, maybe. Something just barely there, like someone stepping out of sight. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, the door was closed. A few nights later, I decided to record it. I set up my phone by the window facing the house. It wasn't the best view, but I could see the porch clearly. I hit record before bed. The next morning, I checked the video. At around 2:17 a.m., the door slowly opened. No one visible. It just drifted open, inch by inch, until it stopped at about halfway, then nothing. No figure, no sound. But at 2:43, my phone caught something that made me drop it. The camera shook a little. The angle shifted, like someone had touched the window from the outside. You can see a faint reflection of a face in the glass for maybe half a second. And the weirdest part? It wasn't from across the street. The reflection was right in front of my own window. I deleted the video right away. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe. For 2 nights after that, the door stayed closed. Then, last Friday, I got home late again. I was dead tired, didn't even turn on my porch light. I walked up the steps, fished for my keys and froze. My front door was open, not broken into. Not forced, just standing there, halfway open, like it had been waiting for me. The air inside was cold, like the windows had been open for hours, but everything else was exactly as I left it. I closed the door, locked it, and sat on the couch until sunrise. I haven't slept properly since. Every night now, I check the house across the street. The door's shut tight, the lights off. But sometimes around 3 a.m., I hear my own door creak, just slightly, like it's remembering. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment. Pretty normal place, 2nd floor, old building, nothing fancy. I've been here a little over a year, and until a few months ago, I never thought twice about safety or privacy. Then small things started changing. The first time I noticed, it was my toothbrush. It looked new. Same brand, same color, but it stood straighter in the cup, and the bristles were too stiff, too white. I figured I'd just replaced it and forgotten. Then my coffee mug. Same chipped rim, same faded logo. But when I picked it up, it was heavier. I even turned it over. The bottom was completely clean. The old one had a brown ring that never came off. I told myself I was overthinking it. Maybe I'd swapped it accidentally or thrown something out without realizing. Then one night I came home and saw my couch slightly off from the wall. Just an inch or two. The kind of thing you only notice when you live alone and know exactly how everything sits. There was no sign of forced entry. Nothing missing. Everything was exactly where it should be, except it wasn't. Over the next few weeks, it got worse. My framed photo of my parents. Same frame, same picture, but the glass was spotless. I know for a fact it had a tiny scratch near the corner. Gone. My kitchen knife, identical, but sharper. My pillow, same case, but firmer. Even my socks felt different, like they'd never been washed. It wasn't just replacements. Sometimes it was timing. I'd put my keys on the counter before bed, and in the morning, they'd be perfectly aligned. Not where I dropped them, but neatly arranged in a straight line. I changed the locks, installed a camera in the living room. For a week, nothing happened. Then, one morning, I woke up, and the camera light was off. Dead. The footage showed the usual. Me sitting on the couch, eating, sleeping, until around 3:12 a.m., then static. When the picture came back, everything in the frame looked the same. Couch, table, lamp. But I wasn't there, just an empty apartment. I checked the rest of the recording. Nothing else. Except, in the last few seconds, the camera panned slightly left like someone adjusted it. That's impossible. It's mounted to the wall. I pulled the card and brought it to the store where I bought the system. The tech guy looked at the footage and said, "Huh, weird. Are you sure this is your place? The clock on the footage doesn't match your system time. It's about 4 hours behind." I checked again at home. He was right. I sat on the couch, just staring at the camera. That's when I noticed it. The lamp beside it had a tiny crack near the base. I was sure that crack wasn't there before. I unplugged everything and left. I stayed at a friend's place for a few days. When I finally went back, I knew instantly something was off. The air smelled different. Faintly chemical, like cleaning products. My couch had a new cushion. My books were rearranged by size, not color. I walked to the kitchen and froze. There was a sticky note on the fridge. Neat handwriting, blue ink. Don't worry, you'll like this version better. I bought a home security camera system about 6 months ago. One of those smart ones that sends motion alerts straight to your phone. I live alone, out on the edge of a small town, and I wanted some peace of mind. For a while, it worked great. It picked up raccoons, passing cars, delivery guys, all the usual stuff. Nothing weird. Then around mid-August, it started sending alerts every night, always between 2:45 and 3 a.m. Each time when I checked the footage, there was nothing, just an empty porch. The motion alert would pop up. I'd open the live feed and see the same thing. Still night air, porch light glowing, maybe a bit of mist drifting across the lens. But no people, no movement. I figured it was a bug, maybe a spiderweb triggering the sensor or condensation. So I cleaned the lens, repositioned the camera, even replaced it once. The alerts didn't stop. Every night, 2:47 a.m. After a week of this, I decided to stay up and watch the live feed myself. I sat on the couch, coffee in hand, waiting. At exactly 2:46, the camera pinged. I opened the app, blank porch. But then, the tiniest flicker in the bottom corner of the frame. Like the shadow of something just out of view, I froze. The feed glitched for half a second, then went back to normal. Nothing there. Still, something about it bothered me. The motion alert only triggered when I wasn't watching. It never went off while the app was open, so the next night, I set the phone down and pretended to sleep, but kept one eye on the screen. 47. Alert. This time, I didn't open the feed right away. I waited 10 seconds, then hit play. The porch was empty, but right before the feed loaded, there was a flash of something. A frame that didn't belong. It looked like a person, standing close. Too close. All I saw was part of a shoulder and the edge of a face. Blurred, but unmistakably someone there. Then the screen went black. When the image came back, the porch was empty again. I tried to convince myself it was a glitch. Maybe the app lagged, maybe a compression error, but I couldn't shake it. The timing was too precise. Always the same minute. I called the company's support line. They had me send the clips. After a few days, they replied, "We've reviewed your footage. We're unable to replicate the issue. However, we did notice something odd. Your camera shows a reflection that doesn't match your setup. Are there any mirrors or glass doors near the entryway?" There aren't. Just a solid wooden door. That night I covered the inside camera with a towel, just in case. I didn't even want to look. But around 3 a.m., I heard a faint knock. Not on the front door. On the window beside my couch, 3 slow taps. I froze, barely breathing, waited, nothing. The next morning I checked the camera again. The app said there had been motion at 2:47 a.m. as usual. The footage was blank. Except this time, in the reflection of the porch light, you could see something faint, like a pair of eyes. Not glowing, not fake, just human, staring directly into the lens.